This is Gary Atensi with CNTV, and today we're in Denver, Colorado. I'm here with Aden Leadership. Since 2013, they have equipped companies, teams, and individuals to lead from a place of powerful authenticity and uniqueness. I'm here with Greg. Thanks so much for joining us here today. Greg, let's start off a little bit about yourself. I mean, you've worked in corporate America before. You're really were highly sought after in the hospitality field. For you, you were hitting goals, basically setting achievements out there, yet at the same time kind of felt there was a lack of purpose. Tell me a little bit how all this got started for you.
Started on a mountain, believe it or not. That year was 2010. I was just gotten married. My new wife and I decided we wanted to adopt a little son from Russia. During that process, we ended up getting pregnant. Also, I was training to climb a mountain in Argentina called Aconcagua, about 22,000 plus feet. The short version is about 18,000 feet up, I realized I was on the wrong mountain. And I realized I left a newly adopted son and a pregnant wife at home. And that was the moment where I needed to get more clear on my purpose. So I left. I came back to Denver.
That is interesting. I mean, to create and develop leaders, that really has been a service that has been sought after for centuries. Why do you think it is important today more than ever that we are providing leaders that are authentic in the workplace?
Well, first of all, the authenticity is incredibly important, and leaders are the cornerstone of every organization, if you think about it. And what I've done in my work is I've actually paralleled leaders in parenting and asked them to consider the value of their followers. We all value our children because we've created them, but at the same time, would we lead them any differently than we would someone that we value at work? So the authentic leadership, or the servant leadership, as I bring to the table, is critically important.
I mean, there's much training out there, seminars, leaders are being taught to be powerful, to take charge, yet the two words that you don't see out there that you use is to lead, yet at the same time to serve. Why is that the cornerstone of really what you do?
Great question. Servant leadership started 1973 plus or minus with Robert Greenleaf. And when I decided to leave corporate America and come into leadership, that was the first thing that I kind of gravitated to. And to me, servant leadership is critical because you serve first and then you lead, meaning take care of those that are following you and then provide leadership. So to be a servant is to be humble and have passion for another human being.
That is interesting. Do you feel that leaders out there, they're so focused on the goal, so focused on the driven metrics of the company, they forget that who they're leading is actually people? And is that something that you experience on the forefront?
Well, I'd answer that in a couple ways. First of all, let's get them to stop managing people and start leading people. And to answer your question, they're always focused on achieving something that is, like you said, a metric. But they're also more focused on themselves than they are the leader. And that's where I work with them, serving other people and getting them to feel a little bit more humble about themselves and really take care of someone else. But yes, their focus is typically money, revenue, profit, NOI, etc.
In this day and age, we are driven by technology. We have many ways to communicate with our team, texting, messaging, Skyping, you name it. Yet, do you feel the communication is sometimes the problem? And what is it you mean by intentional communication?
Intentional, meaning I want to have a conversation with another human being around what he or she wants and needs from me as a leader. That takes courage and passion and humility. A lot of people communicate by stopping by someone's desk on the way in and saying, "How was your weekend?" and not even stopping to hear the answer. Another thing around engagement, or communication, I should say, is that engagement. And is that authentic? Do you really care about the human being that you're leading?
Most of us, we get out of college, out of training, high school. We jump right into an occupation, maybe find themselves like yourself without any really purpose. It wasn't taught that we should pause and actually ask ourselves, what is it we really want? I mean, is that the first step that you were able to help folks?
Yes. In fact, that's two of my questions. One of them is, what do you want? Okay. And then what are you willing to do to get there? As a human being, as a parent, as a man, as a woman, but predominantly in my work as a leader. And a lot of them don't know. Because when you ask someone, what do you want? They immediately go to, oh, you mean my goals? The goals that I put in front of me for my organization or someone else has handed down to me. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what do you want in your heart and how you lead others. And then I help them become better and more powerful leaders.
You were able to help align people with their purpose. I mean, obviously, this is something not for the faint of heart. I mean, this is something pretty courageous to actually stop and do some inward thinking. Does that process take a little bit of a little courage on the front end?
Absolutely. And you said it, inward thinking, and the awareness piece is absolutely critical. And without any awareness of how someone wants to shift, on how they communicate, how they want to serve, how they want to lead or guide other people, if you don't know what it is you want to do, it's just like exercising and practicing without any kind of thought around why. Why am I doing this? And the why to me is actually the first step.
Your personal coaching, your business consulting, it is all rooted in authenticity. When you're able to help somebody discover their authentic advantage, what does that mean to them?
To be yourself, to be the person that you say you are, not to be a hypocrite, to have the courage to say, I'm not sure. I know exactly what we're doing here, and not worrying about someone saying, but you're the leader. You need to know everything. Actually, leaders that are humble and actually ask questions of the people around them are the best leaders. The most powerful leaders I've ever met, authentically, they take advantage of being humble and saying, I'm not sure. What do you guys think? And then decisions are made based on recommendations. Leaders that hire smarter and more powerful people than them are typically the best leaders. That takes courage. And that was Teddy Roosevelt.
That is interesting. I mean, we're all taught that there's power in purpose. Be true to ourselves. But like you say, to find out what that really means, that takes some consulting, some thinking. Would you recommend this for people not only on a team, but individuals and every type of industry?
I'd say that yes, the individual is the person that I'm coaching, but I'm typically coaching them as part of a team and as a larger organization. And if you think about a heart in 2 or 3 circles, the heart is you. The heart is the leader, and everything you do that has powerful impact has a powerful or positive impact on the people around you, your team, your spouse, your kids, your neighbors, your coworkers, your family. However, if you show up small, it also has a negative impact. You can actually suck the life out of all of your relationships by not showing up powerfully. So, yes.
I mean, these are practical tools, strategies that you provide for people, being able to shift your language, change your communication, and then ultimately change your behavior. Is this something that a person is doing pretty much the rest of their life once you're committed to this?
Absolutely. When you're committed to understanding what you're aware of, you can do anything you want. You can do anything you put your mind and heart to. Because I believe that how we behave comes from our beliefs. Can you shift your beliefs? Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the first step is what you call basically to assess the client, find out if it's a good fit. I imagine there's a little bit of listening going on there as you decide. What are you looking for?
Commitment. Commitment to self. Because I'm not interested in whether they're a CEO, a president, or an assistant. I'm looking for, are they all in for creating something different than they said they wanted to do? It takes a lot of courage to ask somebody, are you ready? And you see it in their eyes. You know when someone's going to do the work. And that's what I leave you with that question is, I want to work with people who are going to do the work. It's not my time and money they're wasting. It's their time and money they're wasting. And I don't want to waste anybody's time and money, frankly.
As you listen to what their goals are, what their purpose is, are you able to put together a strategy that is customized to each person, finding out what barriers they have to break through? And is that something that takes a little bit of time as you create a customized plan?
Sure. I listen to what it is they want for themselves. We put together a personal development plan. It's somewhat tied to their organizational plan relative to competencies. But as I mentioned to everybody that asks, it's not about how competent you are. I want to know how you're showing up. And the first thing I do in assessing someone is I ask them, how do you occur? And they ask me, what do you mean occur? How do you believe you show up for other people? So you have a list of beliefs, and then you go out and interview people. You ask them, how do I occur? And then you connect your beliefs and their perceptions, and somewhere in there is where you are today. You need to find out where you are today before you can determine how you get to where you want to go tomorrow. That's how the assessment starts.
That is interesting. Once they're able to take some of these strategies, act upon them, you're not only creating a leader, but a selfless leader, right? Someone who is humble. Is that something that is kind of opposite of what a lot of the training out there teaches?
Yes. Answer your question succinctly. It is very unique because everyone looks at leaders as who they are in most cases: arrogant, narcissistic, full of themselves, ego. And not many true leaders come from a place of spirit, meaning I want to take care of somebody else. So it is challenging. And then when you start talking about things that they need to shift relative to listening and seeing and believing something, it might be something they're not sure of, that's where the shifts come in. But again, if they will have the humility to raise their hand and ask for help, or even when I'm coaching somebody, I ask them questions and ask them, are you ready? Are you ready to do the work? Because if not, we're just spending time together.
So basically not being afraid to not only lead with your head, but lead with your heart, which is something that's not taught out there. You've been a consultant, basically business counseling out there for people one-on-one, in teams, in groups. Do you enjoy being able to spread what you've learned through the masses by public speaking? Is that something that you're definitely open to all the time?
Sure. And before I even started Aden Leadership, I was a leader at IHG, a big hotel company where I led 7 people in 5 brands in 24 states. So I took that opportunity right then to shift out of being a supervisor or a manager or a boss, all words that people use when they talk about a leader. And I decided I needed to be different. I wanted to be different. So I actually took on the role of I'm going to serve the people that report to me. They became my client. I asked them, what can I do for you today? How may I serve you today? How I get my word out is through blogs and interjecting in conversations with 8,000 people on LinkedIn. I have a pretty decent following, and it makes me feel good when people I'm not sure I know comment on and how it moved them, or how they're going to use this, or how it inspired them to think differently. That's the universe. And somebody's got to say what they believe will help somebody else. But I do it without attachment. And service without attachment is the cornerstone of servant leadership. Don't serve someone, don't lead someone, don't guide someone with an expectation that something's coming back. You're not authentic if that's what you do. You asked me about authentic advantage before. When you're truly coming from a place of authenticity and you show up for that person because you want to, not because you have to, because leadership is an honor and a privilege. It's not a responsibility, not by title, in my opinion.
I can understand why you made the assimilation before about parenting. I mean, quite honestly, it's kind of the same way. We don't look for things in return. We are out of our heart. We want to lead them as well. As you see others that you've been a part of their success, you maybe look at social media and you see some progress that they're making. Is it rewarding for you to see those that you've helped go forward as well?
Absolutely. It makes me feel good here. I know what I'm reading and how I'm sharing is going to serve somebody. But again, all I can do is do the best I can, work hard and spread the word, and continue to ask questions. Because when you ask questions, you're inspiring somebody to think differently. And I don't tell people what to do. Remember, I ask them, what do you want? And what are you willing to do to get there? And then I'm behind guiding and leading and serving them along the way. And to the parenting, I've got an 8-year-old and soon to be an 11-year-old. If I served with attachment, I'd be driving myself nuts. But here's what I do, and I recommend it. Ask your kids, how can I be a better parent today? How can I be a better mom today or a better dad today? Because that's really the same thing I'm recommending to my leaders in the organizations. How can I lead better today? And it's amazing the questions you'll get back. And most of them won't answer the first time because they have no idea who this human being is. But if you stop and really look at your kids and ask that question, you'll get all sorts of insight that will help you serve them better. And what parent really doesn't want to show up for their kids in that capacity? I know there's some out there. I'm asking you authentically, why else are we here? To parent, to help people grow and mature.
That is great. Viewers, let's take a look at the bottom of the screen. You're going to see their website right there. If you want to contact Greg, you can check him out. He's available on LinkedIn, also his website. Schedule him for any type of business consulting as well as speaking engagements out there. You can also find him on the advisory cloud as well. Once again, this is Gary Atensi with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know.